He's a different kind of cat and just marches to the beat of his own drum. You don't worry about that with the nucleus and the culture that you're building in Houston?
You know why I don't worry about it? Because the one thing I know, Ime Udoka throw hands in the locker room with a player. Kevin Durant ain't gonna come pulling that shit he been pulling in Phoenix with Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka go stand on business. And I think, and I know Kevin Durant have enough respect for Ime Udoka that he's not gonna bring that BS over there, SA. See, that's what I'm saying. Ime Udoka is the one that's gonna get Kevin Durant in line.
I appreciate him having that kind of respect for a brother. Clearly, it didn't appear to exist for a Budenholzer or to a lesser degree, Frank Vogel. I'm not blaming Kevin Durant for that. I don't want to come across as saying that. We've heard news that Booker wasn't feeling Budenholzer either. But when you consider that Kevin Durant is there and that, you know what, Steve Nash got let go. When he was in Brooklyn, you got Kenny Atkinson that was let go the minute he arrived. You're looking at a situation in Phoenix where Vogel's gone now, Budenholzer's gone now. What are we to make of Kevin Durant in your estimation? You're his former teammate. You know him well. What do you make of it?
The same thing I said when we were on Countdown a couple months ago, when it was you, Bob Myers, Malika, and myself, the ABC crew, and I said, let's not ever put Kevin Durant in the conversation with Steph Curry and LeBron James. It's levels to this. And I'm not taking away from Kevin Durant greatness. In my eyes, I believe Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer of all time. But when it comes down to that separation, when you talk about leadership, when you talk about the professionalism, when you talk about the journey, the story, we cannot put him in the conversation with Steph and LeBron. I'm sorry, SA. Like, Steph and LeBron, like, those are different type of animals. Now, Steph Curry, we don't know him to be a vocal leader, but damn it, we know him to be a culture setter, right? And that's leading by example. I don't know. This is what I'm going to ask you. Think about this for a second. I'm going to ask you this question. Tell me why.
Okay.
Tell me why Ja Morant got the best out of Tyus Jones, who's with the Phoenix Suns. Donovan Mitchell got the best out of Royce O'Neal, who's also on the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul got the best out of Devin Booker, who's also on the Phoenix Suns. Damian Lillard at one point got the best out of Nurkic, who had problems in Phoenix, who was shipped to the Wizards. Katie, why are you not getting the best out of those guys if other superstars and other players around the league got maximized those same guys? It just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Don't make sense.
Don't make sense to me either. Let me move on. Is it a foregone conclusion that you believe the Los Angeles Lakers are going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves?
In 7 games. I'm not
It's going to take 7?
Yeah, I said 6, but I'm going 7. I'm not confident. I'm not just saying that with my chest.
Beating the Atlanta Hawks, they'll play the Boston Celtics, the reigning defending champion Boston Celtics, who are the number 2 seed, in case y'all were living under a rock, of course. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat face the Bulls tonight in Chicago for the right to play the Hawks on Friday. Whoever wins Friday's game will be the 8th seed and will face the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. Good luck with that, by the way. In the Western Conference, the Golden State Warriors are now the 7th seed after beating the Memphis Grizzlies last night. They'll play the Houston Rockets, who are the number 2 seed, but are underdogs in their first round matchup against the Warriors. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks face the Sacramento Kings tonight. The winner of that game will play the Grizzlies on Friday for the right to play the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder before they are unceremoniously sent home. Joining me now to break this all down is my partner in crime, NBA Countdown, my brother, contributor to First Take, Get Up, and all things ESPN, doing an outstanding job, and I'm one of the few people in the world he absolutely loves and can make him smile. The one and only Kendrick Perkins is in the house. What's going on, big boy? How you doing, man? How's everything?
Big bro, what's happening?
All right, talk to me, man. First of all, let's get right started with the Warriors and the Grizzlies last night. Watching that game, are you of the mindset now that the Warriors are in a position to make a run for the conference finals?
I'm not. And here's why I say, think about this. 80% of the points had to come from Jimmy and Steph Curry last night. They played a lot of minutes. They can't stand that playing against a young athletic Rockets team who, by the way, have more pesky defenders than the Memphis Grizzlies. And so I'm looking at this situation and I'm saying it took a lot out of them for them to, out of Jimmy and Steph. Look at those numbers to even get that victory. Now you're going against a Ime Udoka-led team that thrive on playing defense at the highest level, one of the best defensive teams. And you're going to go in and say that I'm going to rely on those two guys in the 7-game series that is going to be physical. They need a third option. And here's what I want to ask you. What the hell is going on with Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga? I
don't know. I mean, listen, Kuminga, let me tell you this, right? Let me tell you this about Kuminga. He's averaging more points against the Rockets than anybody else on the Warriors. 21.3. I don't understand. He's arguably the most athletic guy on the Golden State Warriors. I don't understand how the hell this dude is I don't want to say street clothes because he had on a sweatsuit, a Warriors sweatsuit, but he clearly wasn't dressed to play. And Steve Kerr, as far as I'm concerned, pulled a Jason Tatum on him, telling them, yo, before the game, we ain't gonna find any time for you. What sense does that make, Perk?
It makes no sense. And here's the add-on to what you're saying. This is a young man that is in his contract year. So now, if Steve Kerr does decide to go to him, which I believe he needs to in order for Golden State to even have a chance of winning this series against the Rockets, how do he bounce back from this, right? Like, now you're testing this young man mental toughness, which I think Jonathan Kuminga is really mentally tough, but he's in his contract year. And as a former player, which Steve Kerr was, you should understand that. And it's like this ego of once he gets stuck in his ways, this is how he's going to go about things. But I'm gonna say this: if he chooses not to use Jonathan Kuminga, the Rockets are going to win that series.
I will say this to you. Jonathan Kuminga doesn't have a player option. He's got a qualifying offer. And so I'm looking at the number, like they're saying here is $10.2 million he's scheduled to make next year. If I'm Jonathan Kuminga and Steve Kerr doesn't play me this summer, I want out. I don't think he should want to be a Golden State Warrior if that's going to happen. Let's go to the Rockets for a quick second. What's made them so good this year, and why do you give them such a chance of beating the Warriors in the series?
Well, one, I don't know who you voted for as your coach of the year, but I voted for Ime Udoka. This team was
he was in my top three. He was in my top three. I voted for Bickerstaff. For Detroit.
I'm not mad at that. The Rockets were in the 11th spot last year. All of a sudden, they're in the postseason, okay, because of the identity and culture that Ime Udoka brings to a ball club. That's number one. Number two, when we always talk about defensively and what's the most important position in today's game, I always tell you, S.A., what? The wing position. The wing position.
Right.
They are loaded defensively at the wing position, from Dylan Brooks to Tari Eason to Amen Thompson, who I believe, by the way, might be the best two-way player in the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, so they're going to
damn right.
They're going to get stops. And now you have Alfred Şengün, who, by the way, last game was busting Draymond Green ass, okay? The last game of the regular season where he had Draymond throwing elbows. He is a problem. So when I look at the championship experience that they have on the team in the veteran locker room, I'm looking at Fred VanVleet. I'm looking at Jeff Green. I'm saying to myself, they got the right mixture of youth, athleticism, and veteran leadership, along with an elite head coach. They're going to be prepared for the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a physical-ass series. I see it going 6 or 7 games.
Jalen Green, what are we to make of him at this stage and point in his career?
I think that he's auditioning, S.A. Here's why. We've been hearing the rumors, right? We're hearing the whispers right now, right? Kevin Durant getting together with the Phoenix Suns to figure out what's next for him for us, finding a team for an offseason so that they could trade him. Okay, cool.
Right.
We hear the Knicks on their list. We hear the Mavs on their list. And we also hear the Rockets are on their list. The one concern that we all have a thing about when it comes down to the Rockets is who's going to be their closer.
That's right.
Jalen Green, it's your time. It's his time. Am I lying?
You're right, but only in this sense. Let's play with this for a second. With what they have, the young nucleus that they have, you already got quality veterans in Jeff Green and Fred VanVleet. Dylan Brooks is like mid-level veteran. Like, he ain't some old senior citizen cat. He's got plenty of time left in this league, but he's been around long enough, and he's a rough rider. And when you think about the culture that they have and what they bring to the table, do you compromise that for Kevin Durant?
I do. But that's why I said, S.A., Jalen Green is auditioning, right? Because when you look at the Rockets right now, what do they struggle to do? Make shots. They're one of the worst teams in the league for us making 3-point shots.
And we know that ain't KD's problem. Problem.
But what I'm saying is, if I'm Jalen Green going into this postseason, I quiet the noise. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to show you I could take over a fourth quarter. I'm going to show you I could rough a 20-point fourth quarter, put the ball in my hands, and watch me go to work. Y'all talking about, I'm hearing these whispers about Kevin Durant. Now I'm going to silence that noise right now. And he has an opportunity right in front of him to do it. And so if he does and show that, and all of a sudden the Rockets beat Golden State, and they get to the second round, and then all of a sudden we looking at this team and they're in the Western Conference Finals, then, yeah, you kill that Kevin Durant conversation. But if you get beat in the first round, and it's because you don't have a closer, a guy that could go toe-to-toe with a Steph Curry in the fourth quarter when it's a possession-by-possession game, then, yeah, you might consider trading a Jalen Green, a Jabari Smith, a Cam Whitmore, package it up to bring Kevin Durant in for next season.
Even if Kevin Durant is the kind of person that you might not think is great for your locker room, not because he's bad.